What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are going to be talking about religions that you've probably never heard of. So the first religion that we're going to talk about that you've probably never heard of is called Falun Gong. It's a weird word. It's spelled like this, and that's, I think, how you say it. I mean, I've tried to learn how to say it correctly, and I'm pretty sure it's Falun Gong. Anyways, this religion, if you haven't heard about it, is a new religion that was founded in China in the early 1990s. The word actually means law, wheel, practice. It was founded by Li Hongzhi. I don't even know how to say this dude's name, but I'll pop up a picture of him and his name. It has its global headquarters in Dragon Springs, and it's a 400-acre farm compound type thing in New York, which is actually really interesting because it was founded in China, but the headquarters is actually in the United States, which is pretty interesting. As far as their whole beliefs, I wanted to kind of just like look at the different belief systems that these religions have and kind of just give you like a nice like overview of kind of what the religion is about. One thing that this religion is really well known for is their anti-evolution beliefs, which means that they don't believe in evolution. So a lot of people believe that we've evolved from other animals, and there's that whole like Charles Darwin thing. I'm sure you guys know about that, but there are some actually religions that don't believe in evolution and actually have their own evidence for why they don't think that we have any evolution, and they think that we were kind of put here by like these supernatural beings already like in human form, basically. The whole point of this religion, the reason that it was started, was to aspire and enable the practitioner to ascend spiritually through moral rectitude and the practice of set exercises and meditation. So that's kind of the whole goal of this religion, is for them to basically ascend spiritually through different exercises and meditation and such things like that. The three tenets of this religion, which are like the three main pillars that this religion has, is truthfulness, compassion, and forbearance. And if you don't know what forbearance is, it's basically like self-control, restraint, that sort of vibe. Basically just being able to have self-control and stuff and not indulge in bad things, you know. But those are the three main tenets that this religion has. I think those are some pretty three good tenets to live by. I mean, I'm not really a follower of any religion, but, you know, it's definitely not a bad start to any religion. So they think that the evolution of one's moral character is achieved on the one hand by aligning one's life with truth, compassion, and tolerance, and on the other hand by abandoning the desires and negative thoughts and behaviors such as greed, profit, lust, desire, killing, fighting, theft, robbery, deception, jealousy, all those sorts of things, which is kind of common across many religions. You want to live in truth, have compassion for people, but let go of those attachments to negative thought processes and negative actions. They also do believe in karma. They think that part of the human experience is to rid oneself of all of the negative karma, and that is kind of how you unlock the higher dimensional spiritual side of yourself that you have inside of you. They also believe that reincarnation exists and that different people's reincarnation is foreseen by different gods. So I think that's really interesting because a lot of religions these days, well, not a lot, but some religions these days usually focus on like one sort of god, and they kind of think that there's many different gods and that people work with many different gods. And I actually personally think that there is many different forms of gods and many different gods, and I think that it would make sense that different gods work with different people depending on what they need to learn in this lifetime and such. But that's one interesting thing about them. It is kind of closely related to Buddhism. However, they do kind of separate themselves a little bit. And one way that they do separate themselves from Buddhism traditions is that they place a great importance on the participation in the secular world, which the secular world is basically this entire human world that we've created, aka your 9-to-5 job, all that sort of stuff, you know, your community that you live in, the country that you live in, the government, the laws, all of that. And the practitioners of this religion are required to maintain regular jobs and family lives and to observe the laws of their respective governments. And they are instructed not to distance themselves from society, whereas in Buddhism they can kind of they kind of live in the monastery and they kind of just don't want to really play in the game that we've created here in society, I guess. And I guess that's one thing that really sets them apart. Another thing that I found out when I was researching this is that they actually own a news media company, and it's called the Epoch Times, the Epoch Times. I don't know how they say it. And basically, this is one of the first religions I've heard of that actually own like their own news network, basically. And they're considered to be a far-right news network. They received a lot of attention for promoting conspiracy theories, such as anti-vaccine stuff, and they even produced advertisements for Donald Trump. Apparently, they supported Donald Trump. But I think that's really interesting and cool, and I kind of love that whole conspiracy theories and stuff, and I think that there's a lot of truth to a lot of these conspiracy theories that they like to label as. But I do think that is cool that they even have their own sort of news thing for the religion, which is interesting. A lot of people might not like what they're saying, but at least they have their own news media to share among their own people. And lastly, it is believed that there is about 70 million followers of this religion. So it is actually starting to get kind of big. So you might have heard of this one, maybe not. But they do seem to have quite a bit of following. So yeah, we are going to now move on to the next religion that I want to talk about that you've probably never heard of. And this is Jainism. Jainism is also known as Jain Dharma, and it is actually an Indian religion. The crazy thing about this religion is it was actually established in 500 BC, around the same time as Buddhism. So both of these religions were formed around the same time. Jainism is one of the oldest religions in practice to this day, which I always think is very interesting, that it's kind of like one of those old religions that have been around for a really long time. It's estimated that the population of Jainism puts them around 5 million in the world, with the vast majority of them in India, where the number is around 4.5 million. One of the principles in Jainism is nonviolence, and it basically means that one must abandon all violent activity, and that without such a commitment to nonviolence, all religious behavior is worthless. The second main principle of Jainism is Ankadavatihu. See, I don't even know how to say this word. That was a butcher, but as you can see, it's this weird word. But basically, it's like a doctrine, and basically what it states and what it represents is that truth and reality are very complex and always have multiple aspects to them. It further states that reality can be experienced but not fully expressed with language. It suggests that human attempts to communicate are naya, meaning partial expression of the truth. According to it, one can experience the taste of truth but cannot fully express the taste through language. So that is the other tenet, which I do agree with that. I think we can only do so much with words. I think that is a true tenet right there, that everything will only be an expression of the truth, as in the full truth cannot even be expressed. So I do like that. And the third main principle of Jainism is non-attachment to worldly possession. That's a very standard one, kind of relates to Buddhism as well. It's not to have any attachments to the physical world. All of those attachments are thought to basically take you off the spiritual path and take you away from what really matters. Now, for monks and nuns in Jainism, it requires a vow of complete non-possession of any property, relations, and emotions, which that's pretty intense. But I mean, it is for the monks, but yeah, so they're not allowed to own anything really, which, see, that's why I could never be a monk. I feel like they take it too far. You know what I mean? I don't think there's anything wrong with owning stuff. At least I wouldn't not want to own anything. I think things can be useful. So, and especially relations and emotions. I mean, relations with people and emotions are one of the most beautiful things that we come to experience in this human experience that we have. And I don't feel like there would be any benefit of giving that up, really. At least I wouldn't personally want to choose to give that up. But that is their third principle that they stand for. The practice of nonviolence is very strong in Jainism, though, and it means that all living beings are led to being vegetarian, basically. So most people who are in Jainism, if not all of them, I believe, are vegetarian because they don't like to hurt other animals and stuff. However, this is when things get weird. So the monks actually don't even eat root vegetables such as potatoes, onions, and garlic because there are tiny organisms that are injured when the plant is pulled up. And because a bulb or tubulars ability to sprout is seen as a characteristic of a higher living being, which means that they won't even eat potatoes because of the little mites that they're harming. So they really take this, do no harm very seriously, and they're not even eating potatoes because of the little mites that it hurts when they rip up, which is crazy to me that you're already vegetarian, almost, vegan or whatever, and you're not even eating potatoes and stuff. So I'm not really sure what they eat, to be honest, because they're already like cutting off some like plants, and you're already only eating plant. I mean, that's just crazy though. I mean, shout out to them for really living in that. I personally, I don't really think there's anything wrong with eating potatoes, and sometimes I kill bugs. I won't even lie. So, I could never really be a follower of Jainism myself, but it is definitely interesting nonetheless. And in Jainism, meditation is concerned more with stopping karmic attachments and activities, and not as a means of transformational insights that it is usually for in other religions. So they have a sort of different view on meditation than a lot of the other religions do, which kind of separates them apart. So the last religion that we're going to talk about today is called Eckankar. Eckankar is a new religious movement that was founded by Paul Twitchell in 1965. So this one is relatively new. 1965 is not that long ago, and the headquarters is a temple, which I thought was really beautiful. It is very pretty looking, and it is in Minnesota, and that is where their temple is at. One of the basic tenets of Eckankar is that the soul may be experienced separate from the physical body, and in full consciousness, travel freely in other planes of reality. Eckankar emphasizes personal spiritual experience as the most natural way back to God. These are attained via soul travel, i.e. shifting the awareness from the body to inner planes of existence. And what I really think is cool about this is basically what it's kind of talking about is sort of astral projection and out-of-body experiences, which I do think are real. So I'm sure you guys have probably heard about astral projection probably, and depending on what your religion says about it or how you feel about it is one thing. But they do seem to have a very big importance on this personal inner journey that we can do inside of us and traveling to these different dimensions all through ourselves and all through meditation and that sort of thing, which I think is really cool. And I do kind of agree with that. I think that one of the most natural ways back to God is actually through your own personal experience that you can have to attain that connection through meditation or other, sacred activities that you could do to bring yourself closer to that being or the universe or whatever you want to call it. Another thing that is really important in Eckankar is they use certain mantras and chants that are used to facilitate spiritual growth. So one of the chants that they use is actually like the word hue. It's like you would say hue really long, so you would be like hue, hue, and you would just do that for like 30 minutes at a time. And they think that it is viewed as a love song to God. And if you want to try it out, go ahead. You can pause the video if you want and just do hue for a little bit. It's kind of a fun little chant to do nonetheless. It does have a weird feeling to it almost. I do personally like to work with chants. If you guys have ever done like chakra chants or energy chants, it's really fun. Sometimes I'll do them like when I'm driving, because you can just like scream on the top of your lungs. Not scream, but chant. Like you could just get really loud with it. And I actually like chanting. I think it's cool, and I've actually noticed what it can do to the body, and it is really an interesting thing. So go ahead and give it a try if you want. Another main idea in this religion is that dreams are regarded as important teaching tools, and members often keep dream journals to facilitate study. According to followers, dream travel often serves as the gateway to soul travel, also known as an out-of-body experience, or shifting one's consciousness to a higher level of being. Now, I think I agree with this wholeheartedly. I personally have a sort of dream journal that I keep. They are correct about the dream state being an easy gateway to astral projection and out-of-body experiences and to shift one's consciousness, and I do believe in that. However, I've never personally had an out-of-body experience or astral projected. I've been practicing and I've been trying to for a little bit now, but I personally have not experienced it. However, I do believe that it is real, and I do believe that there is validity to dreams being important. I do have a dream journal, and I do remember a lot of my dreams, and I like to look up the meanings and kind of understand the different meanings that dreams could have. And I think that they tend to be very accurate and almost like a glimpse into what your subconscious is trying to tell you. I recommend this really for anybody, but I think this is a great aspect of their religion is you should start a dream journal. I recommend it. I think dreams teach a lot, and we dream every night. Even if you don't remember, you are dreaming. And the more and more you work on it, the more and more vivid that your dreams become, and the more that you'll remember your dreams. And it is really cool. Another teaching that this religion has is that they teach that spiritual liberation in one's lifetime is available to all, and that it is possible to achieve self-realization and even God realization, which is the realization of oneself as the spark of God. So they basically, their goal is to liberate themselves and become one with God and realize that they are a part of God. And I really like that. I have the similar beliefs myself. On their like membership cards, their whole little like motto that they have is basically the aim and purpose of Eckankar has always been to take the soul by its own path back to its divine source. So that's kind of their whole motto for the religion. So yeah, overall, their main teachings are that one can experience perspective beyond our physical body, and that the soul is beyond our physical body as well, and that you can get in tune and in touch with all of those aspects of yourself and bring you closer to God. Also, they do believe in the concept of karma and reincarnation, and they use it to help explain situations in life as the playing out of past causes, which is kind of the whole idea behind karma and all that. They also believe that individuals are responsible for their own destiny and that their decisions determine their future. And I personally believe that as well. I think it's important that individuals understand that they are responsible for their own destiny and to take that into their own hands. So yeah, that's kind of a little bit about Eckankar. This religion is pretty small, actually. So there's only about 50,000 members. And like I said, the headquarters is in Minnesota, and it's a really beautiful building, and there's only about 50,000 members. Now, I will say, personally, after researching these three religions that I showed you guys today, Eckankar actually does speak to me quite a bit, honestly. After I was doing research and just the surface level research that I got from this, I do have a lot of the same personal beliefs. And one thing that I like about all religions is I don't really follow a particular religion, but I like to kind of look at what they all are saying and kind of adopt the things from all these different aspects that speak to me and kind of just create my own sort of morals and way to go through life and such, you know? And I like a lot of what they have to say. And like I said, I already have the dream journal and a lot of that stuff. So I guess you could say my views tend to align with Eckankar, which is weird because you know, most people don't even know it exists, so maybe your views align close to it as well. But yeah, so that is today's video. Thank you guys for watching. These are some religions that you may or may not heard of, but nonetheless, not a lot of people talk about them, so I thought I would bring them to you. And let me know if you guys enjoyed this video. It was really fun to make, and honestly, I plan on making some more because there's so many different religions out there. I plan on making a different part, and we can talk about different religions. If you guys have a religion that you guys want me to kind of like dig into, I'll do that as well, so let me know in the comments. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace and love.